Hello everybody, it's good to see you. I've got the Viltrox 40mm f2.5 for the full frame Z mount in my hands, and I've been putting it through its paces, so I thought I'd do a little review. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this lens by itself, and then we're gonna compare it to the other 40mm, the Nikon 40mm f2, and kind of see how things play out. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this lens could offer you. Okay, so the lens itself, there's not much to it. It's just a lens and a focus mechanism. And that's about it. It's made of plastic, at least it seems like it's made of plastic, and it's got a metal mount, which is nice. And other than that, there's really not much to it. It looks pretty good. It's a little shorter than Nikon's 40mm f2. So if that matters to you, the f2 is a little bit shorter. But other than that, it's just a lens by itself. It feels solid, but it doesn't feel ultra premium, but it is fairly light, so that's kind of good. If I'm looking at the autofocus, for what I do, what I shoot with it, autofocus worked just fine. I think that it was really fast to focus and it was very quiet, no problems at all. But of course, I am shooting like houses and churches and stuff that doesn't move all that often. However, I will say that for a couple of the nature shots I did when things were moving in the wind, when I was trying to get a shot of something specifically in focus and the wind was moving, it did a good job of catching focus and blasting away the shot to give me what I wanted. So that's really all I need from it. For me, the autofocus is fine compared to the Nikon. Perhaps the Nikon f2 was just a touch a little bit faster, maybe a little bit more confident. The Viltrox 2.5 was perhaps a little bit more hesitant to lock on. However, they're really close, especially at the price points. What we're really looking at here is image quality though, right? For a $170 lens, I think that that's what's important. Are you going to spend a little bit more money, or is this going to get you most of the way for the image quality that you want? And the answer for me is absolutely. Just off the bat, there was really no problems with distortion, nothing outrageous with vignetting. You know, there's vignetting that's at f2.5 just a little bit, but nothing terrible, and it seems to be something that I've corrected easily. Looking at the images though, you know, I gotta say that one of the reasons I was kind of excited to do this review is because the images that came out of this are some favorites of recent shoots. You know, I'd wander the country, I look for abandoned houses and just cool derelicts and Americana, some rural treasure that you find out there. And, you know, I took this along for quite a few of my trips, and a lot of the images that came out of this were some of my favorites, even though I had other camera systems with me and I was shooting that stuff. So there's something a little bit here. If you look at some of these photos of this little town that I found that just had some cool abandoned streets, this kind of broken building, these images have a little bit of character in them, and there's just a little bit of something there. I like the fallout between the focus and the background. It just looks really good. And looking at some of these other images, in general, again, it looks great. Even wide open at 2.5 and getting a little bit close, you get a little bit of background separation, and the image quality looks good wide open, which is always, you know, you're always buying a lens and wondering how it's going to perform wide open, and this thing looks fantastic wide open. It's totally fine at 2.5. Here are some more images just to show you what this lens can do for somebody like me who is shooting this kind of stuff out there in the country. I've taken a lot of images with this and probably around the same amount of images with the Nikon, right, the 40mm f2. And honestly, I have to say that image quality is almost a tie. If I'm going to give it an edge, I'm going to give it to the f2, the Nikon version, just because I think that the background is just a touch, just barely a little bit more blown out and maybe just a little bit more pleasing. I think the 2.5 has very nice fall off between the what's in focus in the background, but I think the 2.0 just does a little bit of a better job on that. That's just a personal opinion and just a judgment call looking at a whole bunch of images. If you look at the build quality, it feels really similar. I think the Nikon F2 actually has a plastic mount. It has a plastic mount. So in one respect, at least, the Viltrox has a little bit of an advantage, but overall they both feel plastic. Like I said earlier in my review, the Nikon version, the F2, is a little bit shorter than the Viltrox version. And also, it's got a little bit more of a retro look to it. This is the SE version, the one I have. But honestly, they both feel around the same weight and all that stuff. And then the big thing is the price. What's the price difference? And we're looking at about $160 to $280. So that's a little bit of a difference. But, you know, even the Nikon F2 is relatively cheap at that, you know, for the quality that it gives us. But the Viltrox really comes in at $160, which is insane for a high quality lens like this. And I really got high quality results. When I was close to stuff, when they was far away, at multiple NES stuff I was using, it seemed to just give me high quality images. And what else can you do? If you like the focal length and f2.5 is bright enough for you and you're good with that, I say that this lens is pretty good. If you just want a little bit better, you know, you're going to spend a little bit more money. And I think the Nikon F2 does give you just slightly better image quality, just a little touch more light. But the differences are really minuscule as far as what I can see. I would really kind of use these interchangeably. So, you know, the Viltrox 2.5 looks pretty good. It performs well. I enjoyed using it. I got some killer images out of this thing. So if you're considering it, hey, give it a shot. If you have any questions, throw them below and check out my blog where I have more images that you can see that I didn't share in this video to kind of see what's up. Have a great day. We'll see you later.